The courtroom was silent as jurors leaned forward in their seats, eyes fixed on the screen showing explicit evidence that could change the outcome of Sean P. Diddy Combs' life forever. In a trial already steeped in controversy and media frenzy, this moment marked a dark and unexpected turn. What was once a case whispered about in the corridors of celebrity gossip has exploded into one of the most serious and disturbing trials the music industry has ever witnessed. From hidden camera footage to graphic testimonies, the courtroom has become the setting for a real-life drama that no one could have predicted. This is not just about a celebrity's fall from grace, it's about crimes that, if proven, could put one of hip-hop's most influential moguls behind bars for decades. Sean Combs, also known as Puff Daddy or Diddy, has long been considered a giant in the entertainment industry. A man who built an empire from scratch, creating hit records, fashion lines, and even vodka brands, Diddy was the embodiment of the American dream. But behind the scenes, disturbing accusations have surfaced, painting a very different picture of the man fans once idolized. The federal case against him has gathered serious momentum in the last few weeks, culminating in the release of shocking evidence that prosecutors claim shows Diddy's direct involvement in crimes ranging from human trafficking to assault. The trial, taking place in a packed federal courtroom in New York City, has already seen a parade of witnesses, former employees, girlfriends, business associates, each adding layers to the disturbing narrative. Prosecutors allege that Diddy was at the center of a hidden world of exploitation and abuse, a secret empire built not just on music and fashion, but on control, fear, and violence. It's a narrative that jurors are now seeing with their own eyes thanks to digital evidence, video recordings, photographs, and text messages that are as explicit as they are horrifying. One of the most talked about pieces of evidence shown in court was a series of private surveillance videos seized from Diddy's residence. According to prosecutors, these videos show scenes of non-consensual acts involving multiple women who had been manipulated into staying in Diddy's inner circle. The footage, described in court transcripts but not released to the public, reportedly left some jurors visibly shaken. Legal analysts say this could become the turning point of the trial, as no defense argument can easily erase the impact of such graphic visual proof. The defense, led by one of the top celebrity attorneys in the country, has argued that these videos are taken out of context and that all activities shown were consensual between adults. They claim that disgruntled former associates and opportunistic plaintiffs are twisting reality in a bid for financial settlements. Yet, the sheer volume and nature of the evidence are making this defense strategy increasingly difficult to uphold. Sources inside the courtroom describe the jury as disturbed and deeply uncomfortable, a dangerous sign for the defense. Perhaps most damning was the testimony of a former assistant who worked for Diddy for nearly 7 years. She took the stand and gave chilling details about what she called the dark side of working in Diddy's world. According to her sworn testimony, Diddy kept hidden rooms in his various homes designed specifically for entertaining guests in ways that blurred ethical and legal lines. She described occasions when women were pressured, drugged, and recorded without consent. Her words painted a picture of systematic abuse masked by the glamour and excess of the entertainment world. On top of the physical evidence, prosecutors introduced hundreds of text messages retrieved from Diddy's private phone backups. These messages include explicit conversations that suggest coordination of these disturbing activities. In some exchanges, there are references to arranging encounters, providing substances, and silencing potential whistleblowers. Defense lawyers tried to argue that these texts were simply braggadocio common in the entertainment industry, but the context provided by other evidence made this explanation seem weak and unconvincing to most observers. As the trial progressed, another shocking revelation emerged. Financial records were presented that detailed unusual payments made to individuals who later accused Diddy of wrongdoing, but mysteriously withdrew their allegations. These hush money transactions, as the prosecution called them, suggested that Diddy had a long-standing pattern of paying off victims to maintain his public image. If the jury accepts this as evidence of guilt, it could be devastating for the defense team. But the trial's darkest moment came when prosecutors played an audio recording captured by one of Diddy's former bodyguards, who turned whistleblower. The recording, made secretly during a private party, allegedly captures Diddy threatening a woman who refused to comply with his demands. His words were described as violent and coercive, with promises of retaliation if she ever spoke out. Legal experts say this recording could be the single most damaging piece of evidence so far, as it directly supports claims of intimidation and control. Meanwhile, the media circus outside the courthouse continues to grow. Crowds of protesters, fans, and curious onlookers gather daily, holding signs that range from "Justice for victims" to "Free Diddy." Social media platforms are ablaze with arguments from both sides. Those who believe Diddy is the victim of a modern-day witch hunt, and those convinced he has finally been exposed for decades of hidden abuse. The public divide reflects the trial's potential to become one of the defining celebrity court cases of the 21st century, on par with O.J. Simpson and Harvey Weinstein. For Diddy's legal team, the strategy moving forward appears to be twofold: discredit the witnesses and question the authenticity and legality of the evidence. They've filed motions to suppress some of the videos, arguing that they were obtained through illegal searches. However, federal prosecutors maintain that all evidence was collected under proper warrants and that every piece of it is admissible under the law. The judge has yet to rule on these motions, but legal observers suggest that excluding the videos is unlikely given the careful handling of the FBI's investigation. This FBI investigation, which began quietly more than 2 years ago, is itself a story of persistence and secrecy. Agents reportedly built their case piece by piece, interviewing dozens of witnesses and piecing together a network of evidence that spanned years. Informants from within Diddy's own circle, including staff members, business partners, and even former friends, provided key information that filled in the gaps. The sheer scope of the investigation has shocked many in the industry who until now believed Diddy was untouchable. As the trial reaches its midpoint, the question on everyone's mind is simple: will Diddy take the stand in his own defense? His lawyers have not ruled it out, but many believe that putting Diddy on the witness stand would be a huge risk. Under cross-examination, he could be forced to explain years of behavior and allegations that no carefully worded press statement can fix. The possibility of Diddy testifying adds another layer of suspense to a trial already dripping with tension and unpredictability. Meanwhile, the impact on Diddy's business empire has been immediate and brutal. Partnerships have been frozen, endorsement deals canceled, and streaming platforms have quietly reduced promotion of his music catalog. Major brands, including his clothing lines and liquor ventures, are reportedly reconsidering their association with him. Industry insiders suggest that even if Diddy avoids prison, his reputation may be permanently damaged, echoing the downfall of other entertainment giants who fell from grace after serious allegations. There is also speculation that more charges could be coming. Federal prosecutors hinted during pre-trial hearings that the scope of their investigation may not be limited to what's currently on trial. Additional witnesses are reportedly being interviewed, and sealed indictments could be unsealed depending on the outcome of this case. For Diddy, this means that even if he survives this trial, more legal troubles could be looming on the horizon. Victim advocacy groups have seized on the trial as a turning point in the ongoing reckoning over abuse in the entertainment industry. High-profile lawyers and celebrities have called this case the next Weinstein moment and urged other potential victims to come forward. Whether this signals a wider cleanup in the hip-hop world remains to be seen, but it has certainly sparked debate about the dark realities behind fame and success. Critics of the prosecution argue that the case is based too heavily on salacious claims and circumstantial evidence designed to sway public opinion. They point out that no victim has yet testified to being assaulted directly by Diddy in this trial, and that most evidence comes from third parties. But prosecutors say this is common in cases involving powerful figures, where fear and intimidation keep direct victims silent. The jury will ultimately have to decide whether this pattern of behavior, backed by indirect evidence, is enough to convict. As the courtroom drama unfolds, one thing is clear: the verdict will have massive consequences, not just for Diddy but for the entire entertainment industry. If convicted, Diddy could face decades in prison, the end of his career, and the collapse of his business empire. If acquitted, he could attempt a slow rebuild of his public image. But the stain of these allegations will likely never fully disappear. Either way, the trial of Sean Diddy Combs marks the end of an era in celebrity culture where the gap between public image and private reality is finally being scrutinized with unforgiving clarity. In the end, this trial is not just about P. Diddy. It is a reckoning for an entire industry that has long turned a blind eye to power abuses hidden behind fame, money, and glamour. No matter the outcome, the ripple effects of this case will shape Hollywood, hip-hop, and celebrity culture for years to come. The truth, whatever it may be, is finally being dragged into the light, and the world is watching every second.